So at Sales Shift, we use a fundamental model to work with teams, leaders and organisations around building sales performance. And the model's called the integral model. And what it's based on is how you create integral change in an organisation. And there are 4 elements. The first element is mindset. So these are the attitudes, behaviours of change. What is the attitude to something? What is the behaviours? What are those subtle things that make a change? The belief, if you like. The second part of the model is called skill set. So if we're going to make this change, what skills do we need? What do we need to develop? What capacity and capability do we need to pull off the change? The third part is tool set. So what are the tools we need? The spreadsheets, the CRM, the pipeline, the call plans, the activity plans that we need. They're all those tools, they're quite tangible things. And the last part of the process is culture. And in brackets we put leadership because they anchor the culture. So what culture do we need to make that change? Now what we did when we observed the integral model many years ago, we thought, wow, what if we just applied sales to the model? So we did, and we discovered that in actual fact, if we want to change sales and develop high-performing sales organisations, we need to look at the 4 components, holistically and totally. So what's our sales mindset at an organisation? And how do people treat sales? What do we think about sales? Is it a dirty art? Is it a black art? Is it something that no one really understands? What are the skills we need? Is it order-taking skills? Is it solution selling, advisory sales? And what are the tools we need? Do we need a pipeline, a sales process or CRM? Do we need call planning, blue sheets, whatever? And then lastly, what is the culture of selling? Do we have actually a culture of selling, or do we have a product-led culture that selling is just a byproduct of? Do we have marketing culture versus a sales culture, or are they aligned? Now you'll notice pretty quickly that these 2 areas are very, very different. And we like to call these the dynamics and the mechanics. Of course, these things are easy to measure, they're easy to look at, they're easy to see them working, and they appear on a spreadsheet very simply. However, what happens is we tend to regard these more highly because we can see them. You've heard the saying, if we can measure it, it's important. But I put it to you that the other side of this is just as important, and in sales, even more important. The dynamics, the way salespeople feel about their product and their market and how they go to market is critically important. We know in sales, sales has an element of failure in it, the win-loss ratio. Well, then we've got to have a good resilience and a good energy to navigate that. But also, a sales team's got to believe that they're regarded, that they're not some dark division out the back of a factory getting things done, who just go to lunch all the time and do coffee. So what is the culture of sales? Now, when we do this right, obviously we believe that the whole human comes to work. And yet, in most organisations, what we tend to spend a lot of time on is the mechanics because they're important. The biggest trap in sales growth and development of high-performing cultures is we make the fundamental mistake of just doing skills, which is, of course, sales training. And you can see straight away from the matrix, if all we do is develop skills and neglect the other parts of the model, we won't get effective sales change or a shift in selling. So this is a critical model to consider as you look at your organisation and say, how are we going to perform highly? How are we going to create a team that's going to bring the best result? What are we going to do to shift sales? The integral model may be a really good base.